What's up, guys? George Balekji here with Boston has entered the chat. Hey, wherever you get your podcast, make sure to check out Foxborough Rush's Mock Draft 4.0. You can check it out on Nesson's YouTube page or on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcast. Ethan Ristadulu and I go through 7 rounds for the Patriots, trade back outside of the top 15, but get 2 starting tackles and a Weapon X on the offensive side as a pass catcher for Drake May. Yes, that's right. Trade back and still come out in a good spot with that offense. It's Foxborough Rush, Mock Draft 4.0, wherever you get your podcast. Now, let's get to the chat. What's up? What's happening? Welcome in. It's Boston has entered the chat. George Balekji here with my main man, Travis Thomas. T, how we doing, my man?
We're chatting. I'm doing good, man. Here with you, doing what we always do. We were talking about dire wolves before this program started.
You see that?
Back out on the streets.
10,000 years extinct. That's just the beginning.
Yeah, I know.
My thought is...
I know. Wait till they do a T-Rex. Like, we haven't seen that in the movies before. How's that end out?
I don't even... Look, whenever that opens up,
yeah.
I'm not going.
I know.
I'm not flying near that island.
Same.
I'm not researching that island.
Same.
Do not ask me to go because I'm not going.
Same.
Cool. Same wavelength.
Yeah.
My thought, though, first time in 10,000 years we have dire wolves.
Yeah.
They brought back an instinct animal.
Yes.
The Cleveland Browns cannot figure out a quarterback. Shows hand in hand how difficult it is to draft. Cleveland can't figure out their sports. The Haslams can't figure out how to spend their money. They brought back a 10,000-year extinct animal.
Bro, it's so true. The Browns, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. They can make extinct animals reappear in a lab, and you can't figure out QB1.
If you had a dire wolf, what would the name be?
Ooh. I mean, it could be, I'd probably name them Doom, because I think we're all doomed. We may not get to Jurassic Park. The dire wolves may take us all out of here.
Yeah, it's the thing. I'm not getting one of those either.
Yeah.
I'm a big
Doom.
pitbull guy. I'm going to stick with the pitbulls.
By the way, these dire wolves are bigger, faster, stronger than the OGs. Of course they are.
What are we doing?
Of course they are.
We got a packed show for you guys. We're going to talk about the Red Sox Netflix series. That just came out. We watched the first episode and jumped ahead to the Jarren Duran episode. We're going to talk about everything that he opened up about with his mental health, what it meant. Just to hear that from an athlete, but more importantly, someone that is significant in Boston altogether. And also what we learned about Jarren from that episode. We'll talk a little bit about the series as well. As always, go through what's trending. New Ken doll out. Jalen Wells doing well, which we're happy to hear, and Dwight Howard making his return to a U.S. basketball court. And we'll end with some Celtics talk after they topped the Knicks in overtime.
You glossed over that Ken doll. Little teaser. George is all in on this Ken doll.
We'll get to it. So let's start with the Netflix series that came out for the Boston Red Sox, and it's called You're in the Clubhouse. Netflix, of course, sent a whole entire production crew to follow them for last season. Went 81-81, didn't make the playoffs. But the big part was, I watched episode 1, I liked it. We watched the Jarren Duran episode, episode 4 together. And the big part in that was he mentioned and talked about his mental health struggles, but also opened up in detail about his attempt of suicide, where he shared that he was alone in a room, he has his rifle, pulled the trigger and the gun didn't go off. And he felt it was something like destiny that, okay, I need to be here for a reason. And it gave him, in a way, a newfound outlook on life where we've seen the bounce back on the baseball field. What I think was great about this episode, T, was it detailed the bounce back of the human being behind the scenes. My first year here in Boston, I got here in 2021, and that's when Duran got his call up, and everyone was excited how coveted of a baseball prospect he was. Struggled with his batting stance, switching his hands, his feet every single game. Everyone saw it.
Yeah.
Defensively, him in the outfield.
Ugh.
I just want to start with, they did a great job detailing it from then to now.
Yes.
What did you think of that episode and Jarren Duran opening up?
I went back to the genesis of him, the beginning. Yeah. You know, he put so much pressure on himself because, not taking away from his dad, they have a great relationship, but his dad put a lot of pressure on him as a young athlete. And I think Duran, in a lot of ways, built this sort of I'm not good enough mentality along that way. And so I looked at it from 2 angles because I'm both. I'm a son and I'm a father as well. Yeah. And so from a son perspective, I thought, man, I wanted my old man to push me harder in sports. He pushed me in life, right? Go to school, do this, eat your veggies, all the stuff dads are supposed to do. But he didn't push me that much in sports, and I wish he did at times. Yeah. Now I have a son who's way better of an athlete than I was at his age, and I'm like, oh, we got something here in terms of sports. Yeah. But I make a real choice to not push him because I don't want him to hate athletics and to hate sports. But My son, because he is good at them, he comes to me often and says, Dad, let's work on this. Let's work on that. Can I get faster? I'm like, hell yeah. And then we work hard. So it's sort of a dance you do there as a father with a son who is athletic that you have to be careful for. So that's the first thing that jumped out to me is a lot of this stuff that he dealt with from a mental health standpoint are those expectations that his dad put on him, the pressures that his dad put on him, and he's trying to live up to it.
Yeah.
And we see that translate now to him as an adult. I love how he overcame all the above. He overcame all of it. And it's unfortunate that this happened, the suicide attempt, obviously. But thank God, as he said, it's divine intervention that he's still here. He's here for a reason. And that's right, because all those things that we just talked about, his struggles in the big leagues, defense, hitting, all those, that's gone now. I mean, he has arrived.
Yeah.
So I thank God because we get to share that gift with him. And he just seems to be in a much better place mentally now. How about he's doing journaling and other tools to help that? I think it's a fantastic American story of, I hate to sound like this, but coming from the bottom and now he's at the top.
It's also that I think what they did a good job and what he did, it's also him just opening up not just what led him to try to take his own life, which was like you're watching it. And the director asked him, he goes, I didn't want to be here. He's like, here's in the Red Sox or here on Earth. And he was like, both. And he goes into it.
Scary.
But, mind this again, like they spoke to him last season. So when he's on the other side of it, when he had his awesome, awesome season where he's one of the best players in all of baseball, period. Not one of the best outfielders, not one of the best players on the Red Sox, one of the best players in baseball, period. But he still talks about, he's like, when you're a player, people think, and I think it's such a real conversation with athletes, fans think because they pay for a ticket and they're sitting in the stands and a player is across from them from a line on the court, on the field, there's netting up, that they can talk to them in ways you would never talk to anyone if you're walking past them on the sidewalk. And he said, you could feel like you're an animal in the zoo. Yeah. He talks about feeling alone and isolated. So as I'm watching him, I'm watching him in a way I relate of the part of, I can't imagine the anxiety that comes with that. Oh. The depression that dips in when you feel alone. Yeah. And even think of a guy that's from Southern California, came up to the bigs when he was in his early 20s, but he's here by himself, right? Like his family isn't here. They're in California. Maybe they got an apartment, I don't know. But I'm thinking when you just got going and you don't have anything cemented.
That's right.
They're in California. So he's in Boston by himself.
Alone.
In Worcester by himself.
With pressure.
Dealing with these things, yeah. And in episode 1, there's even a part of a soundbite. And before they get to episode 4, if he's saying like, I'm getting DMs telling I should off myself.
That's right.
Get out of here. Go. You suck. All this. So in 2 parts, this episode is powerful because it makes it real. We always hear athletes talking about that and you go, but just brush it off. Those people aren't real.
Yeah.
All right. But when you're, especially a sport like baseball, you're batting, you're pitching, or the ball's coming your way in the field. You mess up, everyone sees it.
That's right.
Football, you can make a mistake, your teammate can make up for it. Basketball, you can make a mistake. Exactly.
Pretty much every team sport.
Baseball is truly like you see the individual every time the ball comes their way. I just think it's powerful into detail of what it's like and how the athletes are treated. Yeah. Boston, there's a magnifying glass. It's Boston, Philly, New York, LA, right?
Yeah.
And it's tough for someone that's dealt with this stuff. And you allude to it with his dad. Yeah. There's a story of like his dad throwing baseballs at him, literally pelting him with baseballs because he's not doing well.
Yeah.
Goes home, cries to his mom, but came back and his dad's like, I knew you were going to come back.
Yeah.
And he kept mentioning it of like, I wanted to prove him wrong. But then he'll still say like, I'm not enough. He deals with imposter syndrome too. So and then it's talking about how he coped with it. It's just, it's very powerful to see someone young that was under the magnifying glass. And I can't imagine if this went the wrong way. Like, that's what's insane, where they show the clips of he misplayed that fly ball against the Blue Jays.
That was a turning point.
28-7 loss to the Red Sox, and it was a in the park grand slam he let up. And right, like when I watched it, I go, I can't believe he misplayed that, and I can't believe what he did after the play, not going after the ball.
Yep.
But like when that happens, it's more than that play. It's everything that I can't even imagine going through his mind of like, man, again. And he felt paralyzed. And that's what depression can feel like for some people.
That's right.
Where you don't want to get out of bed. You don't want to eat. You don't want to go outside. You don't want to play the sport you love like baseball. And even if you're fighting through and playing that sport, you don't want to move. And and that's where you're watching and going, oh my God. And
you're preaching, dog.
And that's where I watched it, and I was blown away. The detail he went into, which is good for him.
Yeah.
the access the Netflix crew got, which I think is great.
Yeah.
And it's also his situation when he's talking with Justin Turner. You and I are watching that, and we're like, man, you see how close their bond is.
Yeah.
When he was going through what he was going through, it was like him, Alex Verdugo. I can't even remember the guys in that outfield with him. That's why. And how the Red Sox did it, they did him a disservice. Throw you in the outfield, you always played second. You're a sick athlete, go figure it out.
Well, that's what it was. He's so athletic, they're like, he'll figure it out.
Yeah, one of the toughest outfields to play in.
Yeah.
But that's why a veteran matters on any team.
Yes.
And the Red Sox didn't do him right.
Yep.
By how they set him up with that roster, and he had to be a leader. Thank God, he's okay now.
Bro, you're preaching, man.
Kind of rambled a little.
No, you didn't. Everything you said was poignant. In fact, I actually think it's a great, and I'm sure this is working, what he's doing and helping so many people, but I think he is the perfect example of overcoming, because for everything you said, all the pressure, I think in general, people think, oh, what do you have to be depressed about? You play for the Red Sox, you're making money, you're this, you're a big leaguer, you're that. No, we're all human beings here, no matter what your vocation is. People go through real things. So the way I see this is, I think he's a beacon of light for people who are feeling that way, feeling depressed, feeling like you may want to hurt yourself or others, to look at him who was there himself, what he overcame, the work he's put in to become a better version of himself, which he is now. We're looking at it. He's living proof, quite literally. That can motivate other people who are on the dark side where he was, to step into the light and become the best versions of themselves. I think this is tremendous. Netflix is doing a great job. Kudos to the Red Sox for allowing this kind of access, and kudos to him for sharing his story. It's amazing.
And he put out a statement too. He said, talking about this wasn't easy, but it felt important.
Yes.
I trusted the Netflix crew, and I knew that if I was going to share this, I had to be real about it. A few years ago, I found myself in a dark place, but I'm still here. Wow. And I'm so lucky I am. And if my story can even help one person, then it was worth telling. It's that ability to help, to reach those who feel alone, that motivated me to tell my story.
Man.
Right now, my focus is on the field. We have a postseason to chase, and that's where my head is. I've shared what I need to share, and I appreciate everyone's understanding that my focus right now is on baseball and helping my team win a World Series. I'm grateful for the tremendous support I've received. If you're struggling, please know there's help. You can call a friend, a trusted person, your doctor, or an organization like Samaritans, which is a Boston-based organization. And if you're in immediate danger, call 988. 988 is the suicide and crisis hotline. Samaritans, Inc., that's a Boston-based organization where they offer calling or peer-to-peer texting for people up to 24 years old. Hey, if you need help with this, the phone number for them is 617-536-2460. And as Nesson was broadcasting the game Monday night, that's when the story about Duran was coming out, which was in a good light. Samaritans Inc. received 3 times the normal phone calls and outreach they get than normal once Jarren Duran's story came out.
There you go. There's a tangible proof that it does help and it does matter. And even, I'll give you your flowers here. You and I have talked a lot about our own mental health as friends of each other, our own mental health. And George has been very open with me about, if you need someone to talk to, you need to go do that. And I just think it does matter, especially now too, not to get too philosophical and deep.
No, go.
You watch the news for 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of darkness in the world. There's a lot of bad stuff going on. And so if we can just be kind to one another, if we can help one another, if someone's going through something and you can help them out, do it. I mean, hell, I'm a clown, okay? I'm a walking, laughing joke, and not in a bad way. And I make people happy, I make people laugh. And I've had people tell me for years, man, I was having a horrible day, and just you coming through the hallway acting the damn fool like you do really picked me up. I don't think that. I'm just walking around being crazy.
Yeah.
But, I just think we all could take a lesson from this and help one another out, because you really don't know what people are going through.
Yeah. And that's when, you and I will talk. And there'll be times where I'll be like, man, I haven't checked in on you. How you doing? I'll be like, my bad. You're like, honestly, I need this. You know? Us just to keep it, we're boys, talk about work, talk about life, right? What this shined a light on too is he talked about the messages he was getting. And it's, if you're someone that thinks of sending that type of DM to an athlete just because it's not face-to-face, just don't. Yeah. And it is a two of the understanding of, as bad as that season was going for him a couple years ago, you see someone that's going through something like he's going in the limelight, say at a Dunkin', right, in Boston. Hey, man, we love you.
Yes.
You're going to turn it around. And that's it. And you never, like, or just that with anything. Like, your family members. And I've done it and I hate it, but like sometimes you treat the people you're closest to worse than you would treat someone that is just, your coworker.
It's almost like you take them for granted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you kind of like, you get take an inch, you get a yard.
Yeah.
Type. It's just, and to your point, it's like you just don't know what people are going through.
Well,
it's the thing. Like someone's struggling with something, my thing, dealing with something, I don't know. I'm going example again. I'm at a restaurant, whatever.
Sure.
Person answering the phone call is not doing their best job. It's not their fault.
That's right.
Like, what am I going to yell at them? Hey, don't worry. Take your time. It's just, and that goes with anything. It's not. Just breathe.
I think too, as an area regionally, right?
It's tough. We're fast. It's winter.
And there is a stigma. There is a reputation for an outsider. This is from an outsider. Okay. There's a stigma and a reputation of, Boston's tough. I remember I've told this story before here on Boston Has Entered the Chat, but the first weekend show I did on WEEI was like, hey, Trav, we love you, but people hearing this show, if they don't like you in this town, they're going to call and tell you. And I said, all right, well, I've been in the game for a minute. I got thick skin. I wouldn't do this job if I wasn't. People get in the comments now.
Yeah.
It's all good. There's people that love you. There's people that hate you. That's life. But it's been the opposite. I've got nothing but love here in Boston. There's a racial stigma here in Boston that I know people are working hard to change from the history of Boston, which you can never take away, but you can affect the future. It's the same with this kind of stuff, too. Yeah. I think there's a lot of things that the area is trying to sort of quell. And, hey, it's not racist here. Hey, we're not all bleep holes here, right? So I think this goes to a long way of it. Of if you're in a player's DMs and you're writing all this nonsense, just knock it off. Because it's not just you that looks bad. You make all of us look bad. And not all of us are morons and ignorant like that. And that's why I say, I know I'm preaching, but it's like, let's just try a little bit of kindness. I mean, call me crazy here, but there's enough wacky, wild, evil things going on. I think kindness can go a long way.
And no one's perfect. Like, I was very immature at one point in my life, and I'd be that fan in the stands that would just be chirping opposing players. Go to games now. If we're not working, still go. Just watch. And
just watch.
That's my big thing, and I think it's kind of like it's how I look at it with anything in life, like people I work with, people I work for, people that quote unquote work for me, if it's, an intern, whatever, entry, right? And it's been in sports too. And we talked about this too, of like coaches that will be really hard on me, really honest, but I know they cared about my success, and that's all I need. I want honesty over you just, treating me with like kitty gloves. Like, no, give me the truth. That's what I want every time.
Yes, you do.
But there is that line of, you wouldn't talk to someone that way. Again, I say it, if you're passing them on the sidewalk and they get in your way.
That's right.
But just because you have a certain relationship, that doesn't justify to speak to someone in a derogatory way, a rude way, a dehumanizing way.
Yeah, and
that's what athletes deal with a lot.
Some of that's technology too, George.
Yes,
because like
behind the keyboard.
Back in the day, heckling was boo, you suck, right? Yeah. Every athlete's used to that. That doesn't affect them at all. But I think that technology has really changed now, where you're getting DMs and people are calling you everything under the sun and saying, I hope you unalive yourself and all this kind of stuff. I think the game has changed now so much where it affects these guys' mental health. Yeah. And we got to stop as fans. We got to stop with this. Even as in the media, I mean, I'm quick to call a guy out for his performance, but I always back it up with numbers. Like, hey, man, you got to get better at the plate. Last game you went over this, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm saying, hey, man, you stink. You shouldn't even be in the majors, blah, blah, blah. What? Like, guys, as fans, we got to relax here. We got to just enjoy these athletes. Cheer, boo, that's fair. But when you get into stuff wanting to hurt people and telling them to hurt themselves, we're just doing too much. So kudos to him for overcoming all that.
And I think it's important what Jarren Duran did. And maybe he didn't know it even get to this point a year later. He said he trusted the Netflix doc, but it's given us the reason to talk about this.
Yes.
We should talk about it more, but it's given us a reason. And with him too, it's, he didn't come on the other side. He's like, oh, I'm good now. He talks about the journaling, moving forward. And it's the same. Mental health is health. It's the same way of, for someone like Jarren Duran, yoked, jacked,
huge,
good baseball player.
Yeah.
He doesn't swing once and go, oh, my swing's down, I'm good. No, he's going to keep hacking.
That's right.
He doesn't lift a weight once and go, all right, I'm strong. No, you got to keep lifting your weights. You don't just go to a therapist once or reach out to someone for help once and your mental health is not going to be resolved. It is just like your health. And what I'm doing now at 31 years old for my my body health, my physical health, it's going to be different when I'm 60, but it's something I love to do and I'll always do. What I'm doing now for my mental health with my therapist, that's going to be different than what I do when I'm 60. What I'm doing now at 31 is different what I was doing at 25.
Yes.
At 25, I thought I didn't need it. No, it's the same of it helps. It helps. So that's why I like that. I'm happy. Obviously, he's in a much better place.
Yeah.
You saw his parents opening up, including his dad, of I should have done this different.
He owned it.
Yeah, and that's big. So again, Samaritans Inc. in Boston, 617-536-2460. Also Google them. You can text them. And then the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, you could call or text 988 as well if you need help. So shout out Jarren Duran for opening up like he did. Shout out what he's doing on the field. But most importantly, what he's doing for people. It's good that this conversation's at the forefront. It's still going on. So I know people that, aren't listening to the show, they're going to be watching that series and they're going to get to episode 4 and they're going to be like, whoa.
Absolutely.
It's powerful.
What makes you want to root for him even more if you didn't know his story, for sure.
The Red Sox are back, and everyone is watching closely to see if this team is playoff bound in 2025. We know you have a lot of questions about the Red Sox future. We asked the players, coaches, executives, and alumni those same questions on Nesson's Baseball Podcast, 310 to Left. You can find it on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, wherever else you get your podcasts. 310 to Left. I mean, and so talk about the overall series, man. It's great. Yeah. So I watched episode 1. We jumped to episode 4 together. We watched some episode 1 as well. Love the access. You could see the access they got of miking up players. And what you liked, I guess we could start there. That Craig Breslow introductory scene overall. Talking to the team.
Yeah.
And then them cutting and I go, oh, that's him, Rafi Devers, and Alex Cora sitting in a room.
It was a few
man to man talking.
It was a few different scenarios with Breslow, and I was impressed with all of them. I mean, every time he was on camera. I actually felt the same way about Alex Cora, too, who is going to be all over the season, right? I haven't watched every episode of the season yet, but I imagine Alex Cora is going to be a big part of it. He may even get an episode that I'm not sure yet. But Breslow and Cora both. What jumped out to me is just the kind of what you said, the transparency, the open dialogue that's there. I mean, listen, I don't know if every front office person does this, and maybe I'm just missing it.
I don't think they do.
I don't think they do either. And I wonder if the player background for Craig Breslow plays into that a little bit. Because he can humanize it. It's not just analytics. What do we hear all the time in baseball? It's numbers, it's analytics. You maybe don't even see the name. It's just the numbers, and then you make your transactions based on that. Obviously, Breslow's in that world, too. That's part of the gig. Yeah. But I think he does humanize it. I think he does see the last name. I think he does see the human aspect of this. And that comes across, at least from what I watched of this series so far. Breslow really impressed me, and Alex Cora is Alex Cora. I mean, just the swag, the aura, bilingual. He can talk to anyone. He can get along with anyone. You see him, how he skippers, right? How he manages the egos, how he makes in-game adjustments. I've been really impressed with Breslow and Cora in this series.
Yeah, and with Craig Breslow, too, because he opens up. He's like, man, I've been a player longer than I've been an exec.
Yep.
And also what helps with him in this role, 2 separate instances he pitched for the Boston Red Sox. 2006, and he came back around 2012. Was there for 2 or 3 seasons, I believe.
That's right.
So he understands the pressure cooker that is Boston sports, the magnitude of it all. And the difference between someone like him now that, he is analytically driven. When he gave Garrett Crochet that big extension, him and Christian Campbell, I go, hey, the numbers, the analytics are telling him, bet on this type of player. Mm-hmm. But the difference you get, and to your point of, I don't think every front office guy does that. Craig Breslow's played the game, came up through the game, been coached in the game, so understands, like you said, that face to face, open dialogue.
Yes.
Compared to someone like a Chaim Bloom, when they're making transactions, it's they punch numbers in the laptop, and then it's, hey, you hand down this news. That's on you to do.
Right.
And that's a tough line to walk though, because you can't get too connected to players because you could love them, and then something's gonna happen. And you go, I got to trade you, and you know what? And you got to live with that relationship. Will never be the same, but it gives the players, I think, better buy-in when they understand the vindication coming from the front office with decision making.
That's right.
And the understanding, like Breslow laid out, of like, I'm in this with you guys. I don't want you thinking we just wear khakis and collar shirts. Like, we're making decisions to win games. We're not just making decisions to put a team out there. And that's what Boston needs. They opened the series showing 04, 07, 2013, and 2018. And they showed everything since, where the intensities build up, but also the interest has dropped off because the team hasn't been great outside of 2021. Yeah. And that's a guy that understands it.
This team's given us that feeling again. And let me go back to your Breslow point about sort of humanizing things and talking to guys and not just, making it a numbers game. What happens with that, not only does the players on the team feel more like this is us, right? Us against them. We're a team. But also when you do have to handle the business side of things, when there does need to be a trade, or you do have to let a guy go or send him back to the minors or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Now that we've built that rapport and we have open dialogue, as you called it, open communication and transparency, if you have to give me bad news because of the business side of things, I have to trade you. We can't afford to re-sign you. I can't, whatever. You handle it better. You can stomach it better than a guy you never met or you met once or twice. There's no, he's kind of like, he's in the watchtower. He's not actually down there with you. So I'm telling you, Breslow stood out to me. I think he's going to be here a long time and be very successful. And in fact, we always talk about this, in that position and the skipper have to really be on the same page. And we've heard rumors that wasn't the case in the past.
Yeah.
There's no doubt in my mind Breslow and Cora work well together because that jumps out at you when you watch this series.
Traded for an ace and Garrett Crochet, parted away with highly touted prospects, one in Kyle Teal that they would need right now with the banged up catching core.
That's all I'm saying.
And then also getting Alex Bregman in here and signing him long-term too, to a 3-year deal. And it's even, you see in that convo with him and Rafi where Devers, what he said in the media, you see him talking to Craig Breslow after. Like,
that's right.
Again, that's why I like of the editing style of like, the footage they got, they're using it. It doesn't seem like the Red Sox are like, no, don't use that. They're obviously going to have a hand in what the story's told. And it shows Rafi again going, hey, I like how the team is, but we need more. And Breslow going, yeah, I get it. We're going to do it. And even to go back to Jarren Duran's convo, at points where he was like, man, send me down. Send me back down. Why are you keeping me up here?
Yeah.
The shot of Alex Cora, talking to him in the dugout, and you see in Jarren Duran's eyes how down he was. It's that access that shows the human side of this game. I was surprised. I was skeptic of them dropping it in the mid, like as baseball has started. I said, why not drop it before? Why during I'm going to be locked in watching.
Do you like dropping a series all at once, or do you like episodic?
No, I want it all dropped.
You want it all at once?
Love it.
Because you're a binge watcher, aren't you?
Yeah.
See, I'm not.
I've been binge watching. And if you don't drop it all at once, I'll even wait a little bit. Like Celtics.
Oh.
Celtic City. I waited till episode 4 was out, and I watched 1, 2, 3 straight.
Jeez, you're a binger. Where do you have time? You don't have time for that.
I don't know, man. I find it.
You must be watching stuff on your phone a lot.
No, I don't. I can't watch them.
Or like tablets or anything. I'm a big screen dude.
Laptop or TV.
All right.
In bed.
That's impressive.
I hate TV in the bedroom. I hate that. I need to sleep. Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's how I live.
Nope.
I look forward to all right, before bed, I'm going to knock the show out and then go to bed. All right.
That's my fiance. She needs to have the show Friends on to go to sleep.
Really?
And
I had a buddy like that.
It's fine.
Yeah.
But there's that point where it's 2 a.m. in the morning. I've been passed out.
Yeah,
and
for
damn
sure.
Theme music
and
comes
it's all
on.
Loud.
And I just wake up and I shut it off.
Yeah.
You know what a good relationship's all about, man? Meeting in the middle.
Compromise.
And the compromise is, hey, play it on your phone off to your side of the bed.
Because you don't want a TV in the bedroom.
I can't. The light, man. I need to sleep. I
learn something new every day.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I thought I was I thought I was a norm. Like, can we make this a poll or something? Do you have a TV in your bedroom? Do you watch shows in the bedroom? Because that is the only place.
I do not hold TV in the bedroom against anybody. But I think it's when I moved here and I had one TV in my apartment living on my own. It changed it.
Yeah.
I don't mind it. Like, I've had it in certain apartments where I've lived in
Oh,
my
it was
bedroom.
when you didn't have it.
And then I was like,
that you were like,
I watch it. Yeah, I watch TV in the living room. When I go to bed, I'm going to bed.
That's the only way I could pull it off. Because if I have, obviously, TV's in your bedroom, you're going to do it. Man.
We'll see. I talk about
this would be radical, though.
Well, like, I'm working. We're getting our place in Wakefield renovated because you had to. We literally was unlivable. And the electrician's like, "Where's the TV going in the master?" I'm like, "No TV."
It ain't.
And he looked at me. I'm like, "You could wire it if we do it once, but
wow,
no TV." I'm not a big.
That's impressive, bro.
We'll see. It is nice, though. I'm not going to lie. You wake up, little coffee on the nightstand, TV on, or right before you go to bed, watch the game, click off.
Yes. If I had the money, I'd have a TV everywhere. I'd be sitting on the toilet watching TV.
Oh yeah, it'd be a great place.
You know what I mean? But baller though, not like tablet. I know you're like, Trav, you can have that now on your phone. No, I'm talking straight baller, like in the ceiling looking at me.
In the shower.
In the shower, bro.
That's some MTV Crib stuff.
It is.
Right there.
That's tough.
Hey, make sure to stream the entire Sox season with the NESN 360 annual plan. Available at an all-new reduced price of just $20 a month paid annually. And for a limited time, get 4 free tickets to Fenway with your purchase. Visit NESN360.com to sign up today. I like that idea of a poll.
I do too.
Comment if you guys are watching on YouTube.
TV in the bedroom or not?
Why?
Right.
Or no TV in the bedroom. Why again? Why not? I'm open for the comment.
I'm willing to try your ways. I'm willing to try your ways. I'm very concerned about my wife. Because we're used to that TV in the bedroom lifestyle.
Yeah, look,
again,
this is the day and age now. Someone goes, George 3 years ago, I'd be like, TV in the bedroom. I'd be like, this is why it's so pop. Now I'm like, hey man,
you're more open
you
to
walk,
it.
You walk your walk, you do you.
Yeah, you're more.
If it makes you
open to
happy,
it.
Who cares? I'm not judging.
Yeah, I'm judging myself, and I really want to try your method.
Do not judge yourself.
I want to try it.
All right, you're gonna judge me.
LeBron
got his own Barbie Ken doll. So this is new. This is coming out. LeBron James, first male professional athlete to ever have his likeness depicted by a Ken doll.
Oh, Lord.
This is a series that the people that manufacture Barbie's going with. He is now a Ken-bassador.
That's a big doll.
So last year they had 9 female athlete Barbies. One of those was Venus Williams. Now it's LeBron James. You could get that doll for $75.
$75?
Got it. Ordered.
What?
Dude, that thing's going to be worth so much. See, that's where you get into the collection. Other side of being an athlete. You're now a Ken doll. Congrats. That's cool. I feel like you would appreciate this because Barbie was always a white blonde.
Yeah.
Ken was always a white guy with black hair. Looks like me.
Yeah.
Now you have a black Ken. And you have an athlete Ken.
Yeah.
A Ken that, think of LeBron James. Wait, who's that? That's LeBron James. Didn't go to college. He set up this type of nonprofit. He's putting all these guys in school, getting them educated. And you know what he did with his boys from home? Got them college degrees and got them in rooms they'd never be in, and they're now their own people.
Made them millionaires.
You weren't expecting me to go deep like that on that.
No. So let's stay deep, shall we?
Yeah.
Kudos to LeBron. I'm going to surprise you here. Kudos to LeBron. This is why you're the first active player billionaire we've ever seen with thine eyes. Because of moves like this is just more brilliant marketing. I'll remember this. I'll tell you this quick story. You know Zaire Franklin and I are tight from the Colts.
Yeah.
When Space Jam 2 came out, I was hating. I was like, I ain't going to see that. Mike's version, blah, 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 blah. And Zaire goes, Trav, what is wrong with you? Go support this man. Even if it stinks, support him. Show that blah, blah, blah. Look what he's doing in the community. He's a pillar for this. He's a pillar for that. He's done this for basketball. He's done this for society. I'm like, yeah, you're right. He talked me into it. I'm hating for no reason.
Yeah.
The movie stunk, but I supported. My kids love it, right? This is more of that. It's just LeBron this is an excellent move yet again. Here's the trepidation and why you got the reaction out of me.
$75 for a Ken doll. Yeah, I know.
My daughter loves Barbies. My daughter loves LeBron James. Guess what's going to happen in my house? Dad, I want the LeBron James Ken doll. Oh, no.
Sweetie,
this isn't $20 at Walmart. It's $75.
I know.
I mean, Nesson, can I expense it? Please, or the boss is watching. Ooh. Help a brother out. $75 for a doll?
That's a lot.
Come on, LeBron. You got all the money.
And here's the thing. She's going to get it for Christmas, and you can't be, and then in 10 years you sell a college degree, college semester paid.
Yeah. Well,
your daughter with a doll, it's going to get marker on it. You know what I mean? I get it both sides. 75 is a lot.
A lot?
It's a lot.
For a Ken doll?
A lot.
Them Ken dolls you were describing earlier, $5.
Really?
Yeah, back in the day, them Ken dolls ain't cost no money.
Hold on.
$75.
I didn't even look up how much a Ken doll is.
By the way, my son is at the age.
$7.
Told you. My son is at the age now where he's like if I was like, hey, you want this? LeBron James Ken doll, you know what he would say? It's not a doll, Dad. It's an action figure.
Good.
He's at that age. He won't want this. He would want like an action LeBron, like one where he's hooping.
Oh, yeah.
But he's like,
I
I don't do dolls, Dad. I do action figures. Like, I respect it, son. Meanwhile, $75 for your sister. Got it.
Just don't show her. Hopefully, you could keep this. She's not old enough. Like,
if she sees a commercial,
oh yeah, you're screwed.
I am cooked.
Fair, true.
And you know damn well LeBron gonna have a commercial.
Yeah, but you could always do the and then Santa ran out.
Nah, you can't do that.
Okay.
Not my daughter. You met her. Now,
you
by
can
the
tell
way,
who has kids and who doesn't.
Well, you've met my daughter. That don't fly. By the way, LeBron James, this doll has to be like 9 feet tall. That is a big. That picture we showed, that doll is huge. That's not a regular size Ken doll.
You know that was LeBron holding the doll, right?
Nah, but if you, hey Ethan, bring that picture back. I know we gotta move on. If you look at LeBron holding that doll, because he is a big cat. No, not this. The picture of the doll with LeBron. There we go. Look at that. Ryan, get in there tight. Look at this.
I don't know if you could do it with
that
this.
doll is 3 feet tall, man. You got to be careful with that, man. I'm telling you.
Taller than me.
LeBron's a big cat. That starts on his leg and goes up to where? Damn near his collarbone.
Yeah,
I'm telling you right now.
That's a big doll.
That's a big doll.
Wow.
I'm telling you.
All right.
I'm right.
Scale to size.
Yeah.
Staying on the court, good updates on Jalen Wells of the Grizzlies. Man, scary fall doesn't even say it, but was going up for a dunk. Defender was chasing him, came in hot, and he fell like, I think his temple hit the floor. Scary. But first off, he was awake, alert, and moving his extremities after being taken off the court in a stretcher in Charlotte.
Man.
Now he's been discharged from the hospital after the scary fall. That's according to Shams. Wells is now sidelined for an extended period of time with a broken wrist after appearing in 79 games, vying for all rookie team selection, which he still can. He played 79 games. Most importantly, man, chill out. I know they're about to get in the playoffs. He wants to play. But I'm more worried about his literal, his brain on that one after that fall. That was the scary part of it.
Yeah, I mean,
to hear he's okay.
Yeah, I was going to say all reports are that side of things is okay. The broken wrist is unfortunate, obviously, with him. But at the same time, look, I mean, he had a really good rookie campaign. And I hate to say this at this moment where we're just happy he's okay. But my God, if you look at it, it could have been worse. And it almost feels like it should have been worse. Yeah. The fact that he got out of this with a broken wrist, I mean, a broken wrist is terrible. The season's over. But, man, it could have been so much worse. Thank God it was only a broken wrist. You'll recover from that. This kid can hoop. He can hoop. I hope, if nothing else, because sometimes injuries like this, it's traumatic. And it's it may change his game kind of. Does he lose a little? Because remember, he's going for a dunk. Yeah. Does this make him a little, timid more so in terms of attacking the rim? I hope not, because this kid can play. But again, I hate to say thankful that someone broke their wrist. You never are thankful someone broke their wrist. Yeah. But I'm thankful that was it, because it just looked so much more devastating than that.
Second round pick. He was playing 26 minutes a night for Memphis.
He's hooping, bro.
A playoff team. Yeah. Shout out to the Grizzlies development. Shout out to how good he is.
He's been hooping.
Still crazy. They fired their head coach earlier in the season as they're going to get into the playoffs. But yeah, how scary that fall was. I don't have an issue with watching just stuff like that, injuries, what have you, war movies, I guess you could say. I watched that fall, stopped, scrolled, kept scrolling. I was like, I cannot watch that again. Because that's a part.
Well, being motionless is scary too.
It's watching football in person, which never was. Now I am certain hits, you're like, oh my God, it's violent. Yeah. And that's what it was with that. And it was simply the defender for Charlotte just accidentally undercut him, going in hot, but you don't mean to do that to anybody. Yeah.
It's also, it goes to the idiots that say, well, basketball is so soft. No, you can get jacked up playing basketball, man. Yeah. You really can. Like you said, going to the hoop, someone undercut you, you can get jacked up. How many ugly injuries we've seen a lot of ugly injuries in basketball. Yeah. So,
I'm happy he's all right.
He's not all right. He's still banged up. He's got a broken wrist. It ain't all
how bad it could
tulips have been. But it could have been way worse.
Thing. Yeah,
That's
it could have been way worse.
That's right. Buzzer. At the buzzer, and it counts.
All hoops on trending. Dwight Howard announced he's going into the Hall of Fame. He will play his final season of basketball in the Big 3 League in LA. Good for him, man.
He was still playing
all the time. Yes, in China. Talk about an all-time hooper, love of the game. I just see that from Chris Haynes.
Sorry, Dwight.
Plays final season of pro basketball for Ice Cube's a Big 3. On Los Angeles Riot Squad under head coach Nick Young, which is even funnier. It's one of his former teammates. Swaggy P is the head coach of that team. But you know what? You go to China, you keep playing. He's one of the last players. He might have been the last guy to go straight from high school to the league too.
Did you know he was still playing?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
All about growing the game.
Guess it's just me.
But all about growing the game. Shout out to him.
Yeah, I mean,
like that's what the pride. If he was still chasing it, if he was doing like a Udonis Haslem or a DeAndre Jordan, I'd be like, come on, man. Doing the big three, growing the game, growing that league.
I guess.
Other avenues for people to get paid.
I think, big picture, Dwight Howard's actually underrated and disrespected in a lot of ways. I'm looking at his accolades right now as we speak. NBA champ, 8-time All-Star, 5-time NBA All-First Team. Defense, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. This guy
took a Magic team to the finals.
In terms of resume and big man, it just doesn't really get much better than that. And you have to remember about Dwight Howard too, George, is that the game changed right towards the time he was kind of getting out of the NBA, where the big men all of a sudden were starting to hit threes and at a high clip. That wasn't his game. He's old school, post moves, rebound, block shots, score. I mean, great athlete, can run the floor. So he was really, when you think about it, probably the last of that true big man breed. Post moves, most I'll give you is a 15-footer. I'm not going out to three. He was the last of that era. And I think because of that, in a way, and now we see these lab creations like the Dire Wolf, like Wemby and freaking Jokic. I mean, they were created in a lab. We've never seen anything like this. I think because of that, and obviously the dominance of a Shaq and Akeem in the years, the era before him. Yeah. I mean, I think he kind of gets lost in the shuffle. But Dwight Howard, quite frankly, is one of the greatest big men of all time. That's facts. That's not like an opinion.
And it's a dominant athlete. You need to always think circumstances too. Like he was in Orlando dealing with that franchise.
Yes.
And again, there was well-constructed teams around him, like playing with the Jameer Nelson.
Yeah.
Who's the stretch three they had on that, the small forward?
Kobe was not a fan of Dwight Howard, though. When he got to L.A., that did not work out.
Because also Dwight Howard's personality, it's all bubbly, not all serious.
That's right.
Where Kobe's like, no, I want to rip your heart out of your chest every day in practice.
And unlike Shaq was in his prime with Kobe. Dwight Howard at that stage was on the back end.
It's kind of the combo, like you're not good enough to be messing around like this, and that's how he goes.
Shout outs to Dwight, though.
And beat the buzzer.
At the buzzer! And it counts!
I'd go to a big three game. Hey, if you're enjoying the conversation and the show, you can catch new episodes of Boston Has Entered the Chat wherever you get your podcast. New episodes dropping every Monday through Friday, available on YouTube, Twitch, Amazon, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, wherever you watch them. Catch all the latest in sports in Boston, around the country, around the world, wherever you get your podcasts. All right, my man.
Yes, Lord.
Celtics are on the brink of history. They got their 33rd road win of the year.
Wow.
So that is the second most ever for road wins in a single season for any NBA team. One behind the 15-16 Golden State Warriors, which was big. The overtime win they had against the Knicks, 119-117.
Yep.
But Jaylen Brown questionable as of the time of recording this pod. Drew Holiday, Al Horford, Kristaps Porzingis, Jason Tatum, Derek White out. Again, Holiday, Horford, Tatum, White, Porzingis all out. Jaylen Brown questionable. But more important, the combo is, and they would be playing an Orlando Magic team. That's their last chance at getting a road win and tying the record set by the Warriors.
A team they may see in the first round, by the way.
Yeah. More importantly to me, you watch it, Celtics swept the Knicks this season.
Man.
And with Jaylen Brown continuing to be limited, dealing with his knee issue that he's had since March, Al Horford not playing, Tatum with the ice to send it to OT. Kristaps Porzingis tying a career high back at the Garden. It's again, this team is displaying against a Knicks team that made every single choice this offseason to match up with the Knicks. It was best on best. Tatum on OG. Kristaps Porzingis against the Knicks. Mikal Bridges making mistakes in crunch time. It's just the dominance of this Celtics team. And to me, that was a statement they made against the Knicks. They've swept them. They don't need to play everybody. They're the 2 seed.
That's right.
But when everyone was playing except for Al Horford, you're like, that is the players that's buying of. No, we want to punk these guys. We want to sweep them.
I think that's the majority of it. I think there's another slice of that pie that's a little smaller, which is, look, mathematically, at that stage they were still alive for the 1 seed. Now, Cleveland handled their business, so they wrap it up. So the Cavs are the 1. But I think some of it was like, hey, Cleveland has not been playing well lately. If they're going to fold here, we still got a shot to be the 1 seed. Now that's done. Cleveland's a 1. To your point, you sent yet another message to the Knicks that you ain't Shaq. This is our time, okay? So at this stage, was it 3 games left here? Honest to God, just sit everyone who has a hangnail even.
Especially
of course, Jalen. I mean, that's a knee. But I'm saying, I don't know. I had some tacos last night, Coach. Stomach's, I think I have the bubble guts. Sit out. You ain't playing tonight. I mean, honestly, if someone even burps wrong, I'd be like, you okay? You need the night off? Just, Missoula, I love you. One of the reasons I love you is because you're a psychopath, okay? However, let's just dial down Psycho Joe. Just a couple notches. Just a tick, 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 tick. Couple notches. Rest everybody. It doesn't matter. You're the 2 seed. You're going to play the Magic. Who are you playing tonight? The Magic. Don't show them anything. Treat it like a preseason NFL game. Don't play anybody. Don't run any plays. Don't do anything. Just relax, everyone, till we get to when the games really matter. Screw this record you're talking about. Who cares about that? No one's going to look back in the history and say, oh, remember that great road team Celtics. Screw all that. Keep everyone healthy going into the postseason, and let's get banner 19.
It's also the big one. He played Jaylen Brown in the Knicks game, limping around. He's dealing with inflammation in his knee. It's more like the exact is like back of the knee, pain and inflammation.
Oh, my God.
Because Jaylen Brown's right now at 63 games. You need to get to 65 to get the possibility of NBA All-Pro, all those accolades.
Please.
It's not worth it, though.
He wants the title.
He does. Exactly. That's what you should want.
About that.
In fact, here's Kristaps Porzingis after beating the Knicks about Jaylen Brown battling through his knee injury and playing against the Knicks in the Garden, too.
To just Jalen toughing it out through his knee injury and everything.
Yeah, he's a tough dude. He always preaches, his warrior mindset, and he lives by it, But to what extent we need that right now, maybe he needs to take care of it and make sure he's going to be ready for the most important moments. So I think we just have to encourage him to make sure he does everything he needs to prepare to get it healthy and to prepare for what's going to come. And I think he's a smart guy, so he will. It just shows his heart and how bad he wants to be out there, even for games that maybe don't mean super much for us right now. But that's who he is, and we appreciate him for that.
Kristaps Porzingis talking about Jaylen Brown. That was from Celtics on CLNS, the Twitter handle. I mean, Kristaps Porzingis, a guy that's dealt with his injuries, battled through it last postseason. I think the biggest thing he says is maybe he should learn management, sit down for the most important moment, the moment being the playoffs.
Yes!
Because it's insane that he was struggling, did not look right. Jaylen Brown didn't play in the fourth quarter, didn't play in overtime, didn't play in any crunch minute scenario either to close out those games. He's missed 6 of 19 games since the start of March, hasn't played more than 28 minutes in a game since March 12th, and his last 8 games played 26 minutes a game, 16 points per game. Now has a 30-piece sprinkled in there, still efficient from the field, but we also see in the last 2 games he can't push it past 22 minutes. If he's not right, the only thing that stops the Celtics team is themselves. And that's what's important. Where Jaylen Brown, we saw how vital he was to last year's Title One. Winning Finals MVP. He was a reason they got to that spot and won it. What he does both ends of the floor.
Yes.
The fact that he was even playing last night boggled my mind.
Me too.
But at least Joe Mazzulla checked him and go, you're getting out 22. Like, didn't even let him get to that point.
Fine.
Because that's Joe. And maybe, again, to the Joe Mazzulla where you give him credit, maybe he wanted Jaylen Brown to sit. Jaylen did it, put him out there and go, you're not right. You got to sit.
Yeah, and now sit is ours.
Everything into the recovery.
Yes. By the way, I'm going to be honest. If I'm the new owner, I know you haven't taken over yet. All that money I just paid, I am picking up the phone. Yeah, can I speak to Coach Joe, please? Thanks. Hey, Joe. Listen, I know I haven't, got in the office yet and all that, but I paid $6.1 billion. Okay? How about you rest them and get banner 19? Thanks. Click. By the way, there's no one in the East. Like, the Cavs, kudos to them. But Donovan Mitchell's banged up, going into the postseason. When have we heard that before? Like, it just feels so Cleveland that they're going to let you down at some point, even though I do respect their team and respect the season that they've had. Giannis is quite literally by himself in Milwaukee yet again. Okay, when have we seen that movie before? The Knicks can't beat anyone good, all right? I do, to be honest, I like the Pacers. They're starting to play well right now, but I don't think the Pacers are on the Celtics level.
Yeah.
Pistons are tough.
Yeah.
Magic are tough, but they're limited offensively, both of them, and young. Who in the East is going to stop the Celtics besides no one? The only shot you got is whoever makes it out west, whether it's the Thunder or LeBron and Luka or whoever's. But even then, I think they're going to get mauled too. I think Banner 19 is loading, my friend.
Yeah, it's again, but this team, only thing that can beat them is themselves. Same thing with Jaylen Brown. Like, just shut it down, treat it right.
Yes.
Manage your minutes, because also think about like the uptick we've seen. Last 15 games, Drew Holiday on the team for starting minutes. Number 1 in net rating, number 1 in defensive rating, number 2 in true shooting. And it shows how Drew Holiday's picked up his game.
It's his time of the year.
It's the depth, man.
It's his time of the year.
It's managing him to that point.
Yes.
Look shaky midpoint in the season between him and Porzingis. This is what they're there for. And I think it's a reality. You mentioned the new ownership. It's that the tax threshold, the second apron coming for the NBA.
Yeah.
Holiday and Porzingis, they're not going to be in the long-term picture for the Celtics. It's now or never for them to get that ring.
We got to get out of here, but
Drew's third ring.
I have to ask you this. You were Nostradamus last season. You predicted Porzingis would get hurt during the playoffs around this time.
Oh.
Does he stay healthy for this playoff run this year?
No, but I don't think it's going to be a detrimental. It's just he gets
It'll be
injured.
like last year.
It's a demand, physical toll, mental toll, everything, emotional, what he does both ends of the floor.
So it'll be like last year.
And the intensity hikes up, the back-to-backs, everything like that, long series, physical play. It's going to be tough, especially, but it depends who they match up with.
Right. And that did happen early in the postseason, remember?
Yeah.
So,
but remember, when Porzingis was hurt, Jaylen Brown was healthy. We'll see how healthy he'll be. He's Travis Thomas. I'm George Balekji. This is Boston's End of the Chat. Appreciate you guys making us a part of your day. We'll catch you same time, same place tomorrow.